Time to get your fix. Come on down, get your horrible gaming review. 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 Wow.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and you have decided for whatever reason to tune into another horrible game review. And this is a special one, guys, because this is the first one I am recording the audio for in my new house. Very happy that I've finally gotten everything switched over. Hopefully the sound comes away good. It's got a good echo in this room, so we'll see. A couple of more disclaimers before we get into it. Number one, the horrible in the title of this video does not necessarily refer to the content of the video, the content of the game itself, but more the video itself. I do snap judgment reviews. I get 5 to 10 hours tops with them, and then I just tell you whether they're going to be fun right off the rip for you. Because of this, I don't give scored reviews. I don't believe in that. So what you'll see is me give you an overview of what this game is, then the pros and the cons from my point of view, as all reviews are. Then I'll tell you whether or not I'm going to be sticking with this game outside the purposes of this review. So hopefully you guys enjoy, because I certainly did. Today I am doing the early access beta preview, game preview thing for Grounded. I'm going to review it. So what is Grounded? Grounded is a survival game akin to Ark. If anybody knows what that is, Ark Survival something or other. And it is, but it's made by Obsidian, makers of The Outer Worlds. And you play a kid, one of 4 that you can choose from. There is no character creator in this game, who has been shrunk for mysterious reasons and find themselves in the backyard, in a bustling backyard filled with insect life all around you. Forests of grass, discarded giant-sized pop cans, stuff like that. You're immediately confronted with this mystery, which takes you to a small device, getting it to work, and then it takes you to a miniaturized lab. And a robot companion, I'm not spoiling anything here, by the name of Burgle. He was in the trailer. So right off the bat, that's the end of the story content. They don't have a ton here. I mean, they have said that. They have warned that there's not going to be a lot of story content to start, and that they are more or less going to add content based on community feedback, which is an interesting proposition. Other than that, you will get a series of quests from Burgle daily, up to 3, and they're just task-based things. Put a marker in a certain place, kill a certain type of insect a few times, that sort of thing. Now, Burgle, you can also find these chips for Burgle that allow you to purchase really big upgrades from him with this stuff called raw science, which you can collect around the yard, as well as the chips that you can collect around the yard for him. Now, the reason this game is like like Ark, is because you have a food, a hunger, and a thirst meter that you have to constantly contend with. You have to find fresh water, and you have to find food. Food can be got by killing insects and cooking them, or by eating these mushrooms that give you a small amount. Water can be found all over the place, but if you drink anything that's just been sitting on the ground, you'll get kind of poisoned, which it'll help you with the thirst a little bit, but it'll actually hurt your food a bit. Really, the main source of water they want you to find is these dewdrops hanging off large threads of grass that you have to kind of climb up and slurp, or you can knock them down by whacking the base of the grass. You can also find these really cool things like juice boxes that are just slowly dripping juice out of the straw. And these things not only restore a large amount of thirst, but they also restore some of your hunger, which I found really cool, a nice little touch. Make no mistake, though, the amount of story content you can go through is 40 minutes if you mainstream it. Like, it's quick, and then it's done. Really, what you're looking at in this game is a playground for you, the player, to play with as you see fit. What I mean by that is they have just this world, and you have a lot of building options, a lot of crafting options, and you kind of have to discover recipes as you go along, discover how to create the things that you need to do bigger and better things. Find those analyze spots where you can analyze materials to actually understand better crafting. You can also play with friends, and it is encouraged. Up to 4 people can enter your game and assist you with building and crafting and that sort of thing, which is really cool. The saving is kind of wonky, but what's cool about it is if you save a game in multiplayer or even single player, you can access it with your friends later. And when you do access it online, you can actually switch up the character you're playing so you don't get locked into one choice. Insects, nasty insects, make up the bulk of your antagonists, as well as the bulk of your survival stuff. Smaller insects like gnats and aphids can be hunted and killed for food. Ants tend to try and steal your stuff a lot, so you have to find a way to fight them off sometimes. But for the most part, they don't bother you. But they can be harvested for decent armor and weapons. And then, of course, the big bad nasty spiders. They are just the apex predators of the backyard, and really creepy beyond recognition. But we'll get into that in the pros and cons. With that being said, let's go right into the pros and cons. Pro number one: I love a playground, and this is a great playground. It's different. It gives you a different feel than other games like this, and I actually described this game to a friend of mine who wanted to know what it was all about as basically Ark for people who don't hate themselves. While there are survival aspects to it, it is by no means the self-abuse that games like that put you through. You're not going to be running around pooping yourself. You're not going to have to punch a lot of things to death. You're not going to start in your underwear. You also don't have to worry about cold or heat, which is nice. And the thirst and hunger meter go down at a reasonable pace. You have to worry about it, definitely, but you don't start the game with this immediate sense of urgency of I'm about to die. Same thing with Longest Dark is like that, where it's kind of like a lot of those survival games are like you start it and then it is immediate mad dash to not die. Whereas this isn't that. There is things that you need to do to survive, but they definitely didn't. They wanted to dial down that desperate challenge and dial up the wonder that you're going to see. And there's a lot to wonder. I'm kind of getting lost in this pro, but I want to say I really just love the exploration part of this game. This game 100% pushes exploration on you. That's what it wants to give you. That's what it wants you to do. It wants you to go out and find the things that you want to do instead of being told to do that. Now, I appreciate that. Not everybody's going to love that. Not everybody is going to want to do that as a game, but I appreciate that. And I like any game that rewards exploration, and this does. It does in a big way. All of your weapons and items and everything come from finding different minerals and then analyzing them to find out what you can do with them. So you have to look around. You have to find new stuff to bring your weapons and stuff up higher. My next pro is actually the voice acting. I thought the voice acting was wonderfully cliche almost. You could tell that they're going for an aesthetic, and it almost works in this. A lot of the lines are too on the nose, and in a way it's kind of like this cheeky nod to old science fiction stuff. I really enjoyed that. I thought they were delivered well, and I always found myself chuckling at anything one of the kids that I was playing was saying, which was nice, especially for a game that doesn't have a character creation system, which I would prefer a character creation system. It was nice to get that little one up and be able to go, okay, well, that's at least a pro of not having the character creator. My next pro, this might be a staple for other survival games. I do not play super heavy survival games that much, so I'm not sure 100% if this is a pro, if this is something that happens in all survival games, but I'm going to point it out in this. When you craft something that is like a piece of furniture or some item that's going to sit there, such as like shelter or a place to cook food, like a roasting pit or a storage container. Um, Instead of like a Skyrim or another game where you can craft furniture where you have to have everything you need to build it and then build it before you can place it, this one does this really cool thing where, like, if I want a storage chest and I don't have enough stuff for it, I can still select where I'm going to place that storage chest, and then there'll just be this like transparent blue shadow there. Now, I can then click on that blue shadow, and all the ingredients I do have can go into the furniture right then and there, and just immediately starts to build it. So you can be like halfway done with a piece of furniture. I found this so cool and so helpful because now I'm not. I first of all, I'm getting rid of things that are filling up my inventory, which you only have a limited amount of. So that you can go put more in. You can know what you're building to. I just really like this feature. I had to mention in the pros. If it's a standard for survival games, again, I don't play a ton of survival games, so I'm not sure. But this was cool. If it's not a survival game standard, every survival game should have this. My next and probably last pro is the insect AI is wonderful in this game. While the life in this is not as vibrant as a Monster Hunter, and I decided to compare it to Monster Hunter just on this form. These are completely different games, but when you go into Monster Hunter, they're very good at having an ecosystem that's already interacting with itself that you then have to find a way to become a part of. Grounded is all about that. Grounded is about an ecosystem that is interacting with itself that you have to find a way to become a part of, even though you're not normally there. So it doesn't do it quite as good as Monster Hunter. However, it does it really good. Really good. The spiders, they have specific territory, but they also kind of like move out in a way that a spider would. They hunt in a way that a spider would. The same with everything. Ants move in very specific patterns and lines. They go towards food. They're easily like lured that way. And when you're fighting one, you're fighting a lot of them. But just all the insects, the gnats are very annoying and just kind of bug you. They're just, and they all can interact with each other, which is what this game absolutely needed. Like, it absolutely needs to be that, where it's just this like ecosystem that isn't just constantly evolving and becoming one thing. The ladybugs will actually fight the spiders, and sometimes you can get a jump on the spiders when the ladybugs are fighting it, and then you can actually get a victory that way. I have never killed a spider. They are absolutely the scariest thing I've ever fought in a video game. We're going to talk about that in the cons, but that kind of stuff is just really cool. The ecosystem is so much fun to interact with in this game that it just has to be mentioned again. I know that this is kind of like a deep pro, like it's not as specific as I like to be in pros, but I am going to give quite a few specific cons, and I don't want anybody out there to think that this was a negative review. I love this game. I like playing this, and the reason I like playing it is how much fun it is to interact with the world around you. Everything, like, breaks or shatters or gives you something that you can then use to craft other things, and you can figure out how to craft those. Like, it's just the way they provide the point A to point B to point C is just so much fun in this game that I wanted to spend a little extra time talking to it. But now we should probably talk about the cons, the downsides of the game. So for the cons, I want to say right up front, this game is in game preview. It is basically a playable beta. And the developers have said this game is not anywhere near the release level that they want it. They obviously don't even have that much story put forth. They want to finish that based on community. So the nitpicks that I'm going to throw out there are all going to be things that you could probably expect to be fixed soon or later. But, you know, I'm doing the review, so I've got to point out the bad stuff that I noticed. Number one, with a bullet, there are bugs. Haha. Pun not intended, but kind of happened anyway. All over the place in this game. They're not as bad as I thought they were going to be, but I have noticed there's one that makes me actually uninstall the game and reinstall it every so often, where the controller will do this weird thing where if I go into the menu, it locks my controller, and the only way to be able to interact with the menu is to turn off that controller, turn on another controller, and then when I get out of the menu, the same thing happens, which is not even worth messing with. I just uninstalled, reinstalled. I actually found out you can also correct that by completely signing out and then signing back in. There's also this lighting bug that's showing up on the sides of the screen. There's also like phantom dirt that moves around the ground sometimes if you notice it. A couple of clipping issues. Sometimes I've found insects just in the ground that I can't get to. A spider killed me through a wall once. Stuff like that. Again, this stuff's all going to get fixed. It is. But, I'm playing it and I'm trying to tell you if it's fun or not. So if I don't mention it, you'll be mad at me. So that stuff's all there. It's going to get fixed. This is a beta. You got to just expect that and take it with a grain of salt. The next big con, and this is not a con for me, but it is going to be a con for people out there, so I have to mention it, and that is the lack of directed story content. There's going to be a lot of people out there who want some direction. They want to know where to go next, and they're going to get 40 minutes into the game and realize there really isn't anywhere to go. It's just kind of like hey, go play in the sandbox, which I like. There's a lot of people out there who are not going to like it. So I'm going to mention it as a con. If you're a person out there who likes a directed, guided story, whether in an open world or not, this might not be the game for you, because there is direction only for the first 40 minutes or so. Then there's just these kind of random quests, which do kind of give you a little direction, but nothing comparatively to a normal game. So this is kind of just one of those things. It's more about just playing in the world that they've presented to you than actually completing the story. So just keep that in mind. My next con is a personal con. With games like this that are playgrounds and stuff, I like a character creator. I like to make myself in that world. And you can't do that in this game. You pick from one of 4 teenagers, which have really well-crafted and nice voice stuff, but I still would prefer a character creator. I just would. I like to just create characters, especially in a game that's as open and free as this one, so I would have liked to see that here. The next 2 cons are kind of small ones. The first one, combat is actually better than I thought it was going to be. It's not terrible. However, the perfect block system does not give you enough indication when you actually hit the perfect block. Either that or I've never hit a perfect block, one of the two. But from what I can tell, I have hit perfect blocks, and it's very very small amount of notification that you actually hit one, as well as a reward for it. My next small con is while it is fun to explore and they do like to reward exploring, there are certain things that I just don't know how to do, and I don't know where to get the stuff to do it, and that's a little frustrating because I'm at a point now where I need level 2 tools. I have literally no idea what else to analyze or collect to get the recipes for the level 2 tools. Maybe it's a chip that I haven't found yet. I don't know where to go for that chip. But almost all of my progress is now hampered because I can't get these level 2 tools, and I don't know what I have to do to get them. So it's a little bit irritating just because I'm going to probably have to look it up online, and I don't like looking it up in games where I want to explore. My final con, and this one might be just very specific to me. And I also want to point out that these guys have supplied an arachnophobia meter that allows you to make the insects, the spiders, look less spider-like. Have you ever found a bug on you, and then you smack that bug off, and then it just feels like you got a bug on you for the rest of the day? That's what you're going to get when you play this game. At least for me, that's how it was. I literally, every time I'm playing it, no matter how much fun I'm having, I'm constantly slapping at my neck and my legs. I feel like they're all on me at all times, and it just drives me nuts. And the spiders, I am the designated spider slayer in my house. I have no fear of arachnophobia. I have no problems with spiders. If I can, I even catch them and let them outside just because I don't like to kill things. But no fear of spiders. I have never been more scared in a game than this game. And I think this is kind of what they're going for. So it might not even be able to count it as a con, but holy crap. The first time I saw a spider and it snarled, and somehow these things sneak up on you all the time, I spun around and this thing just reared up and I literally broke my controller. I ripped the analog off my controller. I tensed up and screamed at my TV so loud. I woke my wife up. I like, it was like a little kid scream. So like I said, I don't know if this is a con or a pro because I think they meant it this way, but holy crap, these spiders are scary. I don't care whether you're arachnophobic or not, they will creep you out and you will be taking showers for the rest of the day. I promise you that. So finally, that brings me to whether or not I'm going to stick with it. I'm definitely going to stick with this game. I have a lot of fun with it. I know that it's a game preview. Some people might think it was a mistake to put it there as early as they did, but I think it's really cool. I think it's cool that the fans are going to get to kind of help decide where this game goes. I think it's a really cool, interesting experiment in gaming, and I love playgrounds. I just love games like this that just give you a set of rules and a place to play and just let you go nuts. And that's what this game does, and it is just so much fun. And the way the world interacts, like, it's fun to just walk around and watch the insects do stuff. It's just very interesting, different game. I urge anybody out there to try it. So there you guys go. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys like it. If you liked it, please click like and subscribe on the channel. We'd love to show you more stuff from us. And in any case, you can reach us on Facebook at OManGamingTH, on Twitter at OManGaming9. You can join our Discord. The link is in the description below, and we'd love to hear from you guys. And you can influence this and all the shows from there. And as long as you guys keep watching and listening, I'll keep making them. Thank you for your time.